And the losses are worsening in the financial markets across the world as Donald Trump's tariffs take effect. This is a live look at the big board on Wall Street just after close. For more, I'm joined by founder of Fort Lake Asset Management, Christian Bayliss. Christian, I mean, you must be so busy right now. Just how much worse is it going to get before it gets better?
I mean, it's just so hard to know. I mean, I guess what we're seeing now is basically 30 years to 40 years of trade imbalances basically trying to be reversed in one day. That's a little bit like driving a car at 100 miles an hour and shoving it into reverse. You know, the gearbox just goes flying out the back, and that's basically what's happening with capital markets. Is they've basically gone into a tailspin, having a cardiac arrest, and we're just trying to see how it's all going to settle down. But no one really knows where it's going to go from here until ultimately Mr. Trump ultimately changes his mind again or does something like that. It's really hard to know where we're at.
For the average Aussie, and we've been touching on super this morning, what does it really mean? Well,
definitely super balances will be down, and most people hold their financial assets in that super balance outside of their house, of course. So I'd advise people not to look at that in the next, over the last few days. Obviously, it's going to be a pretty ugly spectacle. But, you know, look, these can also be buying opportunities for people. The opportunists out there that actually do have money on the side and are sitting on cash balances, those people that have been benefiting from higher interest rates, a lot of those people might try and deploy some of that cash to work now with the equity sell-off. So it's not all bad news, but it will probably, you know, slow things down with the housing market. But also the flip side of that is that we're going to get interest rate cuts. That probably brings that forward. We're now pricing in five cuts.
Well, let's talk about that, because Michelle Bullock hasn't been afraid to say that global impacts on the market will determine what they do at the RBA, you know, positive or negative. So essentially, that's going to be discussed in May. Some saying a potential 0.5% reduction.
Well, if it gets worse, definitely financial markets continue to have seizures and these sorts of things. There's definitely every possibility that we go a 50 basis point cut to price to put more, I guess, confidence into the market. That's really what it's all about. So, but look, the other silver lining is that with all of the excess supply of the things that the Americans are not going to import now, such as beef, cars, all of these things, that means there's going to be a glut of these things. A lot of Australians are going to be able to get cheaper cars, cheaper beef, all this sort of stuff. Plus, you get the silver lining of maybe interest rate cuts. So it's not all bad.
So when will that start to come through in the market? When will people start to potentially see cheaper prices?
Well, apparently it's happening at the ports in the US already. So apparently that revenue, that tariff revenue, is already feeding through to the US government, which is quite amazing how quickly it starts to go. But what we're going to, I guess, the big unknown is how will US consumers respond to this? Will US consumers actually stop buying these things because of the price increases? And the last time we saw tariff increases, what a lot of the US producers of the equivalent goods and services did was they actually took the opportunity to put their prices up.
Right.
So they never miss an opportunity. And so all of these cross currents, it's just going to take a while for it all to settle down. And I would say by the time we get to May, when the RBA is looking at potentially cutting, they'll have a lot more information. They'll be able to see the inflationary impacts and be able to make a sound decision then.
May recalibrate by then, not all the way, but definitely we'll be able to see what's happening. Christian, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. We could have carved out half an hour. Here's Nat.